though today we're tackling one very tough question. Why is it so hard to date here in South Florida? Joining us this morning to answer this very difficult question and explain how to successfully date in South Florida is Thanks Matchmaker. You are Rachel London, rather.
That's right.
Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's so nice to have an expert here to talk about this because so many people are struggling right now.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the reasons I think that it's so challenging in South Florida particularly is that everyone is so dang good looking. And so I know that sounds like what's the problem there, but the issue is that people have these unrealistic expectations as a result. And also they're really focusing on things that aren't necessarily the most important. So when we look at the outer persona of someone, their status, what they look like, we aren't necessarily making way for really what's the most important.
Right, their insides, who they are as a person.
Yeah, their character.
Right. So many people here are so good looking, but I feel like I've also, growing up in South Florida, it's felt like there's kind of a spring break mentality here.
Yes.
People think they're just on vacation all the time. Do you think that kind of contributes to it as well? Just
absolutely.
Everyone is looking for the next good time, kind of.
Yes. So it is a transient city. There are people who are coming in and out all the time. Lots of travel here. It's a beautiful place to come visit, and so people do have that mentality where they might be looking for a good time and not necessarily a long time. And I think that at the core, everyone really does want that deep connection and they want that meaningful thing, but the issue is that their actions don't always match that because they're just trying to keep up with the pace of things. When people are coming in and out, you're doing your best and then you get your heart a little bit broken, and it takes courage to open your heart again.
It does. I mean, we were talking about this earlier. I had two really horrible relationships before I met my fiance, but it's difficult to meet anybody and to open yourself up. Would you say that's one of the common mistakes you see when you're trying to find your long-term partner, is just kind of being guarded and wanting to stay a little bit away from, getting hurt again, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, I think that you have to be a little bit mindful because it is also our job to guard our hearts. So it's really understanding that balance of when to guard your heart and how to start peeling back the layers when somebody earns it. So you don't want to go on a first date and just be like, this is me, and just tell them everything. You want to really peel back those layers. But vulnerability is very powerful for connection, and it's all about knowing when the right time is to reveal things about yourself. But it definitely takes courage to be able to do that.
Let's talk about real quick, before I have to let you go, let's talk about just some tips and strategies. If you're out there, you're looking for the right person, what would you say are the most important things to do to set yourself up to find that person and then to be successful in a relationship?
Okay, so a lot of people are looking for this perfect person, and so when they say, how do I find my soulmate or this perfect person? And I think the first thing that you can do for yourself is to stop thinking about it in those terms, because the truth is you have to put work into a relationship, and so a lot of it is a choice. It's not about falling in love and being, we all want that, but we really need to work at it. And so that's one of the things that I think is really important for people to understand.
Just kind of working on yourself and then opening yourself up to options that are out there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being open, like we just talked about too, having an open heart, having that courage, but also having discernment. Discernment is really important as well.
Setting yourself up for success.
Setting yourself up for success.
Because we all know it is very tough out there. So thank you so much for joining us, because you really gave us some good tips, because we all know they're much needed here in South Florida.
Yeah, but it's possible. I want to leave on that note. It is possible, and so stay hopeful.
Stay hopeful.
Yeah.
That is some very good advice there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.